Hi, welcome. My name is Desmond Byrne. I'm in customer support in RX Mobility. I'm delighted to welcome you to Ireland via a webinar with PCCA. I'm going to tell you today about version 3 of RX Mobility. We're really excited about it. We've launched to a couple of customers already, and we're just about to get it out to the rest of our customers in the next couple of weeks. There are a variety of different people on the webinar, some customers, new members, also new customers of ours. So before I get into the detail about version 3 of RX Mobility, we're going to tell you a little bit of background about RX Mobility in the first place with this 30-second video. Thank you.
Most prescription drug non-adherence is not caused by cost concerns or side effects, but by simple behavioral issues, such as forgetfulness or procrastination. RX Mobility can help. With RX Mobility, you can communicate directly with patients using a dedicated pharmacy-branded app. You can send reminders, push messages, and simply refill orders. We even send weekly reports to show effectiveness. The complete solution is HIPAA compliant. What does this mean for you? Healthier patients and a better bottom line for your pharmacy. Contact us today.
Really, when you get down to what RX Mobility about at its simplest, it comprises a dedicated branded mobile app. It's for your patients, and a pharmacy portal which enables you to actively engage with patients on their mobile devices. RX Mobility uses push notifications to communicate with patients, and in case people don't know what that is, a push notification is basically a communication from you directly into that mobile app. It's like an SMS, but you don't need the cell number. It's like an email, but you don't need the email address. All you need to have is the app on the device. We have two types of push notifications with RX Mobility. There are private messages, which relate to scripts, refills, and reminders. And these are private between the pharmacy and an individual patient. And then we have broadcast messages for promotion, marketing, events, and education. So that's sort of a quick overview of what RX Mobility is, and I'm really going to talk now about what version 3 is and what the differences between the current version are and version 3. So we've done a variety of different things in version 3. The first thing that we looked at was improving the whole patient user interface. And on the right-hand side, you can see a version of the app called PWRX Pharmacy, which is a demo app that we've created for this dummy pharmacy called PWRX. The whole variety of things that we've done in terms of improving the patient user interface, we've made it easier to use. We've improved the onboarding of patients and improved the initial setup. We have a permanent news feed, which is a new feature. We have a simpler, more powerful dose reminder. We have improved the refill based on member feedback, and we have that operational now on a single screen. And lastly, we have a mechanism to update orders and for you to see what has been updated on the individual orders. Then on the pharmacy portal, we've managed to improve a certain number of items. We have broadcast messaging. Based on feedback again from members, we were told that delivery methods needed to be improved and needed to be configurable so that they can be aligned to your business. Payment methods can also be configured to be aligned to your business. We have the ability to review what the updates the patient put into RX Mobility, and we also have a new feature called RX Mobility for your website. And lastly, and I can't get into this today, but there's been a whole pile of technical upgrades with RX Mobility, which is in the back end of our tools. So let's just have a quick look at the most obvious manifestation of the improvements that we've made, and that is on the app user interface itself. So this is PWRX Pharmacy, and what I'm going to try and do is open up the app here to be a bigger version, which I don't think I'll be able to do. On the right-hand side is an image of my mobile phone, and on the left-hand side is the actual PowerPoint. So if we just work through that, then the primary activities of the app are refill and dose reminders, and these two buttons occupy most of the space on the particular app itself. What we've done is we've simplified the whole screen, and we've taken all the settings related to the app, and we've put them on a cog, and the cogs are here where my mouse is. I'm just mouse overing that now, and if I click on that particular cog, then you'll see I'm going to open up this settings screen. And everything related to PIN changes, patients, managing patients, opt-in or out of marketing messages, plus terms of use are listed on this settings page. So that's one of the first things on that screen. The second thing that we've done on that screen is that we've taken all of the pharmacy details, and that was 4 different buttons on the previous app, and we've put them behind a Contact Us location. And on the Contact Us button then, we pull up all of the details associated with your pharmacy. The pharmacist and pharmacist name and staff, opening hours, location, address, and all of your services. So if I just click down, you can see all of the services. So instead of having 4 different screens, these are all located on one screen. And we've also made it really easy to drive to your location by having these locations, by having GPS coordinates tied into Google Maps, as you can see here on the screen. The next thing we've done on this particular screen, we've activated certain things that weren't on the previous app. So you could call from the previous app, but now we've also implemented email and your website address. So you can email from within RX Mobility, or you can, a patient can actually open up your website from within RX Mobility. So that brings me to the news section. And the news section is a really exciting item for us. We spent a lot of time on this. And on the app, you can see 2 different types of news coming up. There is a news feed here, and that's where my mouse is now. And there was 2 messages sent through. And these are broadcast messages. And these are primarily messages that you would send to all of your patients who have downloaded the app and have opted into marketing messages. And the type of messages that appear here are things like things that you want to send related to marketing, events, promotions, education. And they scroll through this area here, and we show 3 of them at a time. So 3 messages scroll through at a time. And then at the bottom of the screen, you see news just below the contact. And that is all of the news and all of the actual messages that you've sent to that particular patient, to this patient on this app. So if I click on that news, then you can see I have a whole variety of news items from the pharmacy. I have at the top a couple of reminders that have been sent, refill reminders that have been sent through to me. I have a messaging, customized pain relief. This is an event that's been run by the pharmacy. I have a message from the pharmacy about it being overdue, and so on. Here's one here, for example, order complete, your order is ready for pickup. Let's say I click on that one. What happens is it asks me to enter my PIN. Again, this is for PHI reasons. It retrieves the relevant order, and it actually highlights the relevant order in yellow. So you can see it's John Zebo, and the actual medication is for Lipiderm number 2, and my next refill is due on January 27th, 2016. And again, if I just exit that screen, and if I was to click on, say, on this news feed up here, just mouse over it again, and I'm going to click through here on customized pain relief, and again, it opens up the relevant message, highlights it, customized pain relief, special event by expert Dr. Crown on how compounding medications are better than over-the-counter medications. So that's a new feature that we've implemented. So the complete all of the messages and all of the broadcast messages, all of the reminders, everything that you've sent through to the patients comes through to here and stays persistent in that particular news feed. So as part of the design, what we've done is we've created a number of different design options. There are 5 new templates, and they look like this on the screen. Each of these correspond to an existing design, and when we upgrade you, we will be automatically converting your app to the equivalent updated design, and that is unless you communicate otherwise. So for those of you who are currently customers, we'll be doing that. We've started doing it, and in fact we've got 5 in the release mode already, and we'll be completing that process in the next couple of weeks. Just to show you what some of the designs, to compare some of the designs, there were 2 designs that were particularly popular. There was circles and the quad. And if I just click into the circles design, on the left-hand side is the old design for RX3 compounding pharmacy. And you can see that there's a whole proliferation of buttons on the left-hand side. And we've hidden all of those buttons related to pharmacy details, our services, locations, and call underneath the Contact Us button on the new design. And we've taken the Manage Patients and Settings and put them under these wheel cogs here. Much cleaner design, much clearer user interface for the actual patient. Another example of a very popular design was this one here. This is the square design that people have chosen. Again, a lot of activity on the screen on the left-hand side, and we've significantly improved the actual app on the right-hand side. Again, all of the pharmacy details, services, location, and call functionality are in the Contact Us button, and all of the Manage Patients and Settings then are in this Settings cogs just up here. So we'll be upgrading everybody over the next couple of weeks, and again, unless we hear otherwise, and we will send out an email about this, we will be taking the relevant design and changing your design with the new one. So one of the key features really is on first use. One of the feedback items that we got from members was that a patient has to be, it was relatively difficult to onboard patients, and what we wanted to do was to make it much easier to onboard patients. And how we did that was we basically forced patients, when they downloaded the app, that they would have to input certain details associated with themselves. And I've just opened up a screen there where you can see on the slide on the left-hand side, and I'm going to open up an app from RX3 and show you what that is. So when I open up the app, and this is the first time I'm opening up this RX3 compounding app, so it's just going to open up. It's going to ask me to create a PIN, and I'm going to create a very secure PIN, 4 zeros. I scroll down, I can see news from pharmacy, so I can opt in or opt out. By default, it's an opt-out is select. Opt-in is selected. So if I want to opt out, I click on that. But we want our patients to opt in, of course. I put in my name, so Desmond Byrne as a patient. I enter my date of birth. I wish it was that I was that young, but I'm not. I put in my address and just put in Houston in Texas. I put in a zip code. Okay, I put in my phone number, 718-207-0899. And I'll add my caregiver. In this case, I'll just say it's Dr. Paul and Johnson. Okay, so that's it. One patient is already in the app. I can confirm that, and the details will be saved. Then the app will open. So that's one of the big changes that's occurred with RX Mobility. And when the app is downloaded first, what version 3 forces is that the patient creates the PIN, selects a pharmacy, opts in or out of notifications, and puts in their details. So that's a key feature change. So let's just go down and have a look at the other items on the app itself. One of the things that we've done is we've introduced a simpler, more powerful dose reminder. We got a lot of feedback that the reminder functionality wasn't 100% suited to a compounding business. So we've made it a much better and more powerful dose reminder system. So let me just click on the dose reminder button, and I'll work through the different types of dose reminders that can be done. Okay? So I'm going to pick a particular patient. Just pick the first one, Simon Zebo. I'm going to enter in a PIN, and you can see already that there's a dose reminder has been set up for Simon Zebo, one application of VersaBase number 3. It's weekly on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 a.m. So let's set up another one. I press the button at the bottom of the screen, that green button and the plus arrow, and I put in the medication name, and I'm just going to put in VersaBase 78. Again, one application. And in here I have a number of options, and there is the frequency option, and there is daily. Let me just click on that to open it for you. Daily, weekly, recurring, or specific dates. I'm going to work through each of these, but I'll start off with daily. In daily, I can, once that I've selected that, I can set up a specific time for it to occur. So let's say it's 10 p.m. tonight. I can add a second one for the same day. Let's say it's going to be in the 2 p.m. and a third one, and so on and so forth. So I can have multiple reminders set up really quickly for the same medication on a daily basis. You can see that took me a couple of seconds to set it up. That was one of the shortfalls of version 2 that we've improved significantly with version 3. If I pick up weekly, then I can elect different days. So I can pick a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday, and I can pick a time for that to occur. So let's say it's 6 o'clock, and OK, and then that's when the reminder gets set up. If I was to pick recurring, and recurring is probably the most flexible of these, I can pick hours, I can pick days, weeks, or months. So for example, if I want to pick a month, and I want to pick it recurs every 2 months, then all I have to do is change that to whatever number it's going to be, starting from whatever date I'm going to start on, let's say tomorrow, Friday, pick a time, 6:10 p.m. tonight, and I'm going to do it whatever number of times. I just put 1 in here, schedule that, and that's it. Every 1 month until Friday, January the 8th, 2016 is when that'll occur. So that's the sort of the simpler, more powerful dose reminder that we have set up. So if I just move out of that a little bit and talk to you about updating orders and about refills. So let's say I have a refill prescription here. I'm just going to enter in my PIN, and I have a new refill that I want to create. I've got a patient in the app called Michael Marr, and I'm going to create a refill for him. So Michael Marr, his address is picked up, the medication is, again, I'm just going to go with VersaBase because I know it's an actual PCCA product. And put in the script number, and put in a frequency of the number of days for the script. I won't take a picture of the script here right now. I'm going to decide I want to have it FedEx to me, and I know it's going to cost me an extra $10. Use credit card and file. I've also set it up so there's an option of having a policy number in place, and I'm going to send that through. Okay, so that's been sent through. The dispensing request has been sent to the pharmacy, and I'll press OK. And the reminder is going to be scheduled because on January 30th, I'm going to be sent a reminder about refilling the order, and that's OK. It's all set up. But let's say if I look at it and I said, I'm Mike, and I've actually, I've made a mistake on that. What I can actually do is I can edit it by hitting that little I button, and I can update it. And let's say the refill period here is 23 days. Let me decide to change that. And I got a message from the pharmacy that it should be 22 days for whatever reason. And I just update that. And then the refill reminder is changed to January 29th. And yes. So I've been able to update that. Now, no new script was sent or no new refill order was sent to the pharmacy. But what you can see in the back end of RX Mobility is you will be able to see that change, and I'll look at that in a few minutes. Okay, so that's how you create a refill or a brand new refill, and you can see, if we go through that again, you can see that it all happens on one single screen. Before we used to have 5 or 6 different screens. Now it's just everything is on one single screen, and all of the items that have to be completed are on a single screen. So it's much quicker, much more efficient, and the patient can do it, in seconds now. Okay. So that's sort of on that side on the mobile app. Then we're going to just go over to the pharmacy website a little bit and talk to you about the pharmacy portal and how that works. One of the items that was, communicated to us very clearly by the members was that the delivery methods and payment methods needed to be configurable because there are different pharmacies, different compounding pharmacies and different types of businesses. Some had retail, some didn't. Some delivered, some didn't. Some used FedEx or UPS, some didn't. And same with payment methods. Some people use certain types of insurance, some use credit cards. And so what we've done is we've made it completely configurable so that you can configure the delivery methods and configure the payment methods. And on the left-hand side, what I'm showing you is a screen of basically how we set up the app. So this is the back end. This is what we do in RX Mobility. And that shows you the way we've set this up for PWRX Pharmacy. And if I just go in and I create an order for somebody, just give me a minute to do that. And I'm going to create another one for Michael Lamar. And I'll just go down here. And if you see on the left-hand side, you see how I've configured it: pick up in store, mail it, deliver it, and then FedEx plus $10. And you can see on the right-hand side, when the patient is setting up the actual order of the refill, they have the exact same selection. Same is true of the actual payment method. So credit card on file, call for payment details, or insurance. And let's say this person picks insurance. And can also add up to two custom fields. In this case, I've called a policy number. So the policy number would be the insurance policy number. So pick up whatever details associated with the insurance policy number. And then that will be sent into the pharmacy with all those details. So that's a very important thing that we've done. We got a lot of feedback on that, and we introduced that new feature on version 3. I hope that answers some questions, because I know there were some questions about that from some members over the last while. So messaging is a big part of what RX Mobility is all about. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the different types of messages and then log into RX Mobility and show you how that would work. So there are two basic types of messages occurring with RX Mobility. There's push messages, personal. So it's a personal message. It's between you, the pharmacist, and the patient. And here's an example of one, and it appears under the order history. You can see all the details associated with this patient called Sarah Zebo. Sarah sent in a new order on December 21st. A pharmacist, Desmond Byrne, looked at the order on December 21st. On December 21st, a push notification was sent by the pharmacist to Sarah, asking her to change the refill frequency to highlighted script to 17 days, as a compounding lead time is 24 hours. And Sarah updated the order a little while later, and Desmond completed the order and fulfilled the order on 8/28. So they're all push messages. Everything that's occurred there on the pharmacy side is a message that got sent directly to Sarah, directly to the app. It got sent to no other app, just to the one app that Sarah has on her cell phone. And the other type of message then are broadcast messages. And again, this is based on feedback from members. Broadcast messages are more about marketing. Anybody who's downloaded the app and anybody who's opted into marketing messages in the settings tab, they're able to receive all of these broadcast messages. So you can see here, I've taken a screen grab of something that I did today, which was customized pain relief special event by expert Dr. Cran on how compounding medications are better than OTC medications. And you can see that particular, on the right-hand side where the cell phone is, you can see that message scrolling through. Okay, so there are the two types of messages. One thing, and I'm not really going to talk very much about the back end, but one of the things that we had to do when we were improving the back end of RX Mobility was we had to schedule messaging slightly differently than what would be anticipated. So when you send a message, it does not get sent immediately. What we learned from Apple and Google was that they were looking at messages, and if lots of messages have been sent out simultaneously, they would view those messages as spam. So what we do now is we have an algorithm in the background, and it decides when exactly to send a message so that it doesn't get viewed as spam by Apple or by Google. So I'm going to just go into our back end here of RX Mobility and just show you some of these messages and show you some of the items that we're talking about. So for example, if I want to click on, here's a patient here, Simon Zebo. He has requested a refill on January 6th. And if I click down here, and I can click and look at everything related to Simon Zebo, and I can see all the details, the medication, the refill frequency 16 days. It's a FedEx. It's going to cost extra $10. It's been paid for by insurance. He's put in a note that it's all state, and he's given me the number of the insurance. So Simon has actually gone and requested a refill, as you can see. And if I scroll down on that particular order, you can see all of the history of this particular order and prescription and refill. You can see that I viewed the order back in December 21st, that I thanked the patient, via push messaging and told the patient that I'd received the order and would update with the delivery. I messaged the patient that we have sent it with FedEx airway bill, and I completed the delivery, so completed the order. Afterwards, I asked them to update the app with the RX number 1234, and the patient logged in and actually changed the actual order, the RX number. And let me just click on that here, and this here shows you the change that was made. So anytime a patient makes change to a script or a refill, then we are actually logging that information, and we show you what the changes were. So again, a new feature of version 3. So I'm going to, just to show you, I'm going to just add a message to this person, Simon, thanks for the order for the refill, sent via FedEx, airway bill, whatever, and that's going to get sent straight through to Simon. And then the next thing will be to close it off and mark it as complete. On the right hand side, you will see a couple of messages coming through. Thanks for the refill, sent via FedEx, airway bill 1234567. Would you like to view it? And if I press yes, what happens is it'll open up the relevant order or message. The message will be highlighted in yellow, message from the pharmacy. If I click on that particular message, it's actually going to open up the order once I put the pin on. Put the pin in, it will retrieve the order details, and it'll say, VersaBase 1, order has been completed, the next refill is due on January 22nd. Okay, so that's one type of message, and you saw the actual message come through very quickly, that push message come through very quickly. The second type of message then relates to marketing messages, and this type of message then, the other message was a personal message to Simon Zebo. This message is a broadcast message to everybody that's opted in and has downloaded the app. So let's add that message in here. If I click in here, so I can put in a compounding event, and I can say Dr. Nora will show you, and then whatever you want to say, and I can just press OK. And once I press that OK, then RX Mobility then will schedule that particular message and send it out. Again, based on the algorithm, will send it out, and everybody that has downloaded the PWRX app or your app, then they would receive this particular message, and it should come in a couple of minutes before we finish the actual webinar. Okay. So they're the actual messages that we wanted to go through, and just do want to highlight that we do delay messages. Again, it's to stop Apple or Google perceiving that spam is occurring, because they do actually stop it. They do have filters to stop people spamming via push notifications. Okay. So the next item I wanted to show you, which is a brand new feature of RX Mobility, is version 3, is our website integration. So we have this website integration component which allows you to tie RX Mobility into your website. So previously it was only a mobile app, and now we've put in a website component. So this here is actually a form that we've put onto our website, and let me just show you that, if I may. Just open up our website and click on this here. This is what the form looks like. It's very easy for you to embed it, and I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. And you can see that we can send in information here via the form. I just put in Craig O'Sullivan, the script number. Put in Craig at rxmobility.com. Phone number 718-207-0899. Again, the information is picked up as to how it's going to be, what the configuration method is. It's going to be mailed, and I can just say delivered before 5 p.m. or whatever it's going to be, and I'll submit that. So that's gone sent that through. Well, I think there's a small issue there, but I did it earlier on, and this is one I'll show you now. So just log back into RX Mobility here and click on the website orders. And here's one that Danielle sent through, and it was requested at January 7th at 9:06 a.m. It's already been viewed, and I can view the particular order, and then the whole thing is the same, exactly the same. I can mark it complete, I can add messages, reject it, and so on and so forth. So that component goes into your website. One thing that I can't show you here now, but there is a button for you once you click on for the first time on here. Just go back. Here is the setup instructions. So it's really easy to incorporate. So if it's set up for you, all you have to do is click on that button, get your web developer to copy and paste that and just embed it into a frame, an iframe on your website. It would take literally seconds. Okay. So that's sort of a quick overview of RX Mobility. That was about 35-40 minutes going through version 3, and I was going to open up the floor for any questions people may have. So the question is, do you just call us to change the configuration of the payment and delivery options? And the answer is yes. You can just email us and tell us what you need that to change to. We'll log that information and automatically do that for you. So either best way is via email, but what we're going to do is we will be actually sending out an email to everybody after this webinar telling them that we are upgrading to version 3 and outlining the changes that you can make. Some of the members have actually decided to change images. There's been one member has changed brand, which we're just doing automatically as part of the upgrade. So the second question was, can patients respond to push notifications? So that's a really good question. Push notifications is unidirectional, so it only goes one way. It goes from you to the patient. The way the patient communicates back to you is via refills or via orders. The whole tool of RX Mobility is really about managing the refill cycle and about ensuring that the refills are managed in a proactive way. So the RX Mobility, you send the notification one way, but the only way the patient can actually communicate back to you via the app is either by sending you a refill, sending you a new order, or indeed updating an order. My website does not look like your screen. I do not see the message section at the top of the screen. Can you delete all messages? I didn't see any messages like that in the walkthrough. Messages can't be deleted, cannot be deleted, no. Anything that's sent through to RX Mobility for HIPAA reasons, we maintain pretty much everything within RX Mobility. So if you've deleted it, if you have an old message, it really can't be deleted. If you have a marketing message, however, then it can be modified before it's broadcast and resent. So if you've made a typing error in the marketing message, then the actual message, it won't get sent out immediately because of our algorithm in the background, and it can be modified and the updated message will go through. The only thing is I can't tell you exactly how much time you've got to do that. It's a matter of, it could be seconds or it could be a couple of minutes. So hopefully I've answered that question for you. If I haven't, I do have a list I will be getting all of these questions after the call and the webinar, and I will be actually answering all of them individually. Can you delete all messages and see any functionality? No, there is no functionality to delete messages. So thank you for that question. On the app, I do not see the news feed. So yeah, it depends on the version of the app that you have. We have not upgraded most people yet, so you're not going to see the news feed yet. If I just look at this version of the app here, the news feed will appear at the bottom of the page here. So you can see here it says January 6th or December 16th. That's the news feed. That's where it will appear, or this news button down here. It'll only appear once we upgrade you to version 3, which again we're doing in the coming few weeks. Another question, and I hope that answered your question, Marie. Thank you. Concerning the refill reminder, is that just initiated by the patient, or does the pharmacy set that at the point of filling as well? The refill reminder, this whole tool is driven ultimately by the patient at this point. You can help the patient on board. They can, if you've got a retail operation, they can come into you, you can set it up with them, and you can set up the refill reminder. But it is set up by the app, by the patient. That's the actual use case for it. At the point. So you could set it up at the point of filling, but you'd be doing it on their behalf on their device. I hope that answers your question, Jerry. If I may just call you to the right-hand side of my screen, you should be able to see the fact that a new message has come in. There's a new message from the pharmacy. Would you like to view it? If I press yes, it's going to come through, and it's going to say compounding event. Dr. Nora will show. That was my push message, the broadcast message that I sent a couple of minutes ago. Another question is, will you send us new images of new screens for marketing materials? Heather, great question. Yes, in short, yes. What we're going to do is all of the new screens, we're going to incorporate them into the point of sale material and into that folder that I circulated a little while back. So we've created dedicated Dropbox folders for all of those marketing materials, and we'll update those materials automatically in that folder. So the video will be updated, the point of sale materials will be updated, and all the individual images will be updated and will automatically just be placed in that folder. Question from Jerry, is there a rough estimate how long a blast message takes to show up? For example, if we were closer to weather, how long would it take for that to show up to patients? So another good question. I think possibly the question got answered by my own push message, because it took approximately 10 minutes for that push message to come in to me. So it varies. It can be a couple of seconds. It can be several minutes. It completely depends on the traffic or the amount of times and the amount of push messages that you're sending. What we're trying to do is to ensure that we avoid Apple thinking that you're sending spam. It should be done though. 10 minutes is would be a norm, so you'd expect it within 10 minutes. So thank you, Jerry. Can you show us again how to make a marketing message? Absolutely. Let me show you how to do that. 1 minute, please. I'm just going to come out here, and I just got to clean up my screen a little bit here. So I'm going to click on the message. So here's when you log into RX Mobility. These are the screens. You have various screens here. You got the mobile orders. You got the website orders. You have the status of all the refills and refill reminders. And you have the messages here. So you click on that messages, and it's in here that you actually send it. So you press this add message button at the top, and you would say snow day, for example, day, so closed for snow day, today, Jan 7th, we are closed for a snow day, open tomorrow. Apologies. So that's how you do it, and if you're not happy with the message, you press the trash can button. If you're happy with the message, you press the little arrow, and it'll just go. And that's the message gone. It should appear on my phone in a few minutes' time. I hope that answered your question, Marie. If not, we can talk about it separately. Will the scrolling newsfeed display every marketing message ever sent forever? Will that be fixed? So great question, Catherine. Thank you. The scrolling newsfeed. So hopefully, let me just pick up my screen here, show you here on the opening screen. So the main screen, that's only going to show the previous 3 marketing messages, nothing else. So the last 3 marketing messages will be shown. After that, that's the cutoff. So 3 get shown on that particular screen. On the newsfeed here, you can see that everything will be displayed historically, going back, broadcast messages, marketing messages, personal messages like refill reminders, or any push messages that you've sent through to the actual through to the patient. I hope that answers your question okay, Catherine, so thank you for that question. When you send a marketing message, do or can you place a time limit on it, or is it a one-time message? I absolutely apologize. I don't fully understand the question. My apologies for that. I will just take a note about it, and I will come back to you on that, Marie. If just trying to interpret it, do you place a time limit on it? So the message is sent once. It's a once-off message. There's no repetition of the message. If you want to send it again, you know, copy and paste it, send it again. So the message only gets sent once. I hope that's the answer to your question. Otherwise, I will email you after this and make sure I've answered that properly. Can the patient enter more than one caregiver per prescriber? Answer to that is no. There is one caregiver per patient only. The caregiver can be a physician, it can be a parent, it can be a sibling, but there is only one caregiver. I guess a workaround, if you need to do it, you could put you know, two people's name in the single box, but technically speaking, no, it is only one caregiver. Another question from Heather, and this is a good question. Will all push notification messages be initiated by the pharmacy, or will RX Mobility send any communications to patients without pharmacy consent? So there's a couple of layers, if you like, of that answer. The first thing is, on startup, the patient must actively opt out of push messages. Ideally, we want them to opt in. The only message that gets automatically sent are the refill reminders. And these refill reminders are effectively sent automatically and are set up by the patient. And the patient sets them up when they actually when they set up their script. So if I come in here, I'll just show you my phone on the right hand side of the screen, and if I click on this here that I want to edit this particular one, the refill reminder in this case is 16 days. That particular 16 days, that decides when RX Mobility will send an automatic push notification to the patient, which is a refill reminder push notification. Otherwise, RX Mobility does not send any automated messages. And in effect, and I know this is important for some state pharmacy boards, the patient has to set that up, that refill reminder. And so they do that themselves, and then that's what affects the automated reminder, in this case after 16 days. The other part of the question is, just to highlight in the question, will RX Mobility send any communication without the pharmacy consent? So if the actual, in short, no, that's the only exception. But one thing I do want to highlight is that if you have a marketing message, the patient, of course, in the settings can opt out of marketing messages. And if they do that, though, then they do not receive a push notification marketing message. But the marketing message is actually delivered to the app, but not as a push notification. It does still appear in the newsfeed, and it does still appear in this section here, where the newsfeed and the news section, the message section. So I hope that's okay, Heather. When version 3 is set to release, we started releasing it. We started releasing version 3 in the last couple of weeks. We expect everybody to be upgraded within the next couple of weeks. We're just doing it on a phased basis to make sure there's no problems. The first 5 have already been done on both iPhone and Android devices. We expect everyone to be done by the end of this month. Another question related to blast messaging: how long does it stay in the feed? It stays in. If I just mouse over this here, it stays here. It stays here persistently, but only the last 3 stay persistently. And in the news section, it stays. All of the news that you sent through, it's dated and it's sorted by, newest to oldest, so it just stays in there. Another question is, will you send a PowerPoint slide to us? Yes, absolutely, we will sending a PowerPoint of this. We are also taking a recording of this, and we will delete the bad bits of my webinar and improve them, and we will post a video as well, so that you have that also. Another question: is there a way to have marketing notification default on versus having patient go into settings? So great question, Katie. So the default is that marketing is actually opt-in, all marketing messages. So we default to that, and the patient can opt out, but the default is that it is switched on, and the patient can, of course, opt out if they so desire. And next, another question: can a patient respond to personal or marketing messaging via the app? So Heather, good question again. No, there's the patient can't respond to marketing or personal messages via the app. In terms of personal messages which relate to a refill or an order, they can update the order, they can send through a refill, they can send through a new order. In terms of the marketing messages, you can embed a URL into the marketing message, so you can embed a web link, and if they click on that, it could be, for example, let's say you're doing a survey. You could have you could send out the push message asking people to have a survey, and then the actual survey would have a URL. The push message would have a URL in it, and they could click on that and go through to the actual survey page. But there is no direct way for them to respond right now. Push messaging is, just by definition, in terms of Apple and Google, is a one-way system. It does not work two-way right now. That may change in the future, but right now that's how it works. Can you send, please, the information for the website integration? Yes, we will, absolutely. Good question, Jamie, thank you. So just so that you know, a couple of these things have to be switched on by us. So like in the same way, if you recall, when we sent the marketing, the weekly reports, we switched them on for you manually. So we switch these things on manually. So if it doesn't appear, if you don't have a website order form on RX Mobility, then we will be switching that on as we release version 3. So we will switch that on, and that website order will appear. And if I click on that website order, then you will see that there's setup instructions here. If you click on the setup instructions, that piece of text there, that's the piece of text that I'm just highlighting, that you copy and paste that, and your web developer will paste that into an iframe, and it literally it took us minutes to do it today. Aaron, how long did it take you to do that today?
30 seconds.
It took them 30 seconds to do our version of it, which is just here. So you see it there. Another question. Would you please send in? So another question. It relates to the security measures of the website refill request form. Is it pharmacy branded like the app? So honestly, Heather, I'm not sure of the security measures of the website form. I don't know the detail behind it. I do know our whole system is HIPAA compliant, so I'm sure that Ken has designed this to be HIPAA compliant, but I can't give you the detail of that. But I'm positive it's HIPAA compliant. And is it branded? Is it pharmacy branded like the app? Yes. I mean, you can just embed the website form into your website, and then it takes on the heading of your website, your logo, everything, and it'll be styled effectively by the style sheet that you have on the website. So if you look at our one here, I just refresh that a minute, just to see the form. You can see that the branding of the form it assumed the branding of our particular website, RX Mobility App website, which is in purple. So it assumed that branding. So I think I got through to all the questions. If there's any other questions, please let me know. We're going to take all of these questions and we'll write down individual answers to all of them and send them out to all of the participants of the webinar. We'll do that in the next couple of days. We'll also post the PowerPoint on a link, and we'll post the video of the webinar minus the bad bits on a link. Is any other questions from anybody? If there's nothing else, okay. Thank you very much, Jerry. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. So there's nothing else. I will say thank you very much to everybody. We really appreciate you being customers of ours. This is a product for the members. As you know, I've consistently said that. Anything you tell us, we write everything down, we aggregate all of the feedback, and we make changes to the app constantly. So again, if you have any feedback on this version 3, let us know, and I can guarantee you we'll incorporate your feedback in the next iteration of the app. And the next iteration of the app, of course, which will be version 4, will be PK integration. And PK integration we're working on right now. We're anticipating end of quarter completion and a rollout towards mid to late Q2. So thank you very much, and appreciate your time. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.